The culture of a land is shaped by the influence that the lay of the land exerts in its inhabitants. A valley surrounded by towering mountains, blanketed by cool, wispy clouds. The cool, untarnished wind caresses the earth with sprinkles of raindrops, urging hidden seeds to come out and rejoice in full splendor. A valley, lovingly sculpted by the Creator. A valley nestled in the northeastern boundaries of India, the valley of Assam and Manipur states. This is a valley gifted with an abundance of freshwater lakes, and therefore fishing as a means of sustenance has been ingrained into Manipuri culture for eons. The traditional way the whole family, man, woman and child, fish for the bounty that nature has so richly bestowed is a sight to behold in the lakes, rivers and wetlands of Manipur. Though the states of Assam and Manipur produce about 200,000 tons of fish every year, the demand far outweighs production by a staggering 200%, clearly underlining that the bountiful natural resource is yet to be tapped.
See, Assam state is very rich in fisheries sector. It is one of the primary fish producing state in the country. We have around 4 lakh hectares of fishery water resources. We produce around, in the last financial year, we produced around 2.65 lakh MT fish, and we have produced around 4,500 million fry. But having said that, it must be said that our fishing is still very traditional. We need to move forward in more scientific way. Our farmers are mostly doing in a very traditional method. We have a water body called beels. As you know, it's called it's a oxbow lake type of beels. It's a huge rich water bodies. So most of fishes come from those beels only. And what is happening in the beels are being still primitively fishing activities. They are mostly in a primitive way. So we need to go for more scientific way, more modern way.
The remoteness of the land and the lack of modern equipments have severely affected the fishing industry from ever becoming a profitable business venture here.
The total requirement of table fish in the state is around 40,000 metric tons, whereas the production is only to the tune of 25,000 metric tons. And the gap is met from the fish imported outside the states. And as such, the requirement of table fish is to be met by producing from farms and from the natural water area. And this requires more technology and new technology for fishing as well as for fish farmers.
However, considering the need of the hour and the abundance of untapped natural resources, it is imperative that the fishing in Manipur be raised as a profitable industrial venture, providing sustenance to the people of the land. A major block to the growth of this sector that caters only to the domestic, national market is the traditional fishing methods employed. A classic example of the limitation of the traditional method is in the usage of the heavy and ponderous wooden crafts that all men, women and even children use for fishing. The severe limitation of these ungainly watercrafts is that they struggle to wade across vast weed-infested waters of the large lakes and then prove again to be inefficient navigating the swift waters of rivers like the Brahmaputra.
The actual production from the state is very less due to many reasons. The traditional boats are not durable and not available in plenty, and it is very expensive on the part of the fishermen also.
The sheer weight of these wooden boats, the need for regular maintenance and the scarcity of procuring the ideal wood for their crafting all add to the cup of woe of the fisher folk. Added to this is the lack of modern equipments and the know-how and knowledge of efficient modern techniques used for fishing. Studying and understanding these limitations during 2006-2007, the scientists from CIFT developed a project to eradicate most of these limitations without disrupting the fine balance the people of Manipur maintained with tradition, culture and nature.
These boats are made from bigger logs using dugout method, and only one boat can be made from one log, and each log takes almost 30 years to grow to be ripe boat making, and maybe thousands and thousands of boats are being used by the fisher folks, and you can actually assess now how much trees has to be felled for making these boats. These boats are very heavy and its durability is also very low because it is in water, it deteriorates very fast. Even the best boats has got a life of only around 7 to 10 years. And during wind time, when these weeds comes together, sometimes the boat has to be taken over the weeds, and since it is very heavy, it is very difficult for them to take, especially women find it very difficult.
They conducted fruitful studies on the making and working of these wooden boats, paying attention to the sentiments and learned opinions of the fisher folk, and successfully crafted a boat made of fiberglass that was so much more efficient and less expensive than the wooden boats without losing its aesthetics and the traditional feel. These boats were highly maneuverable, so that even a woman and the children found it easy to handle, lightweight so that it could skim over even the worst weed-infested waters, and sturdy enough to withstand the challenges the large or swift water bodies of Manipur could throw.
Under this program, we have made around 35 boats and distributed to the fisher folk in Loktak area. Now it has become very popular and there is lots of demand for the fiberglass boats. The Department of Fisheries has already started making the boats according to the design of the CIFT, using the mold which has been given by CIFT, and they are making around 20 to 30 boats every year and giving to the fisher boats.
And now coming back to your FRP boats, this is this kind of technology now we want. We are very thankful to CIFTI for giving us this technology. We have already produced around 16-17 FRP boats. Some of these are being used in the state itself, and some of them are being given to some other neighboring states. Now, why we move to FRP boat is because it is lighter, more easy to use, and most importantly, it is very environment friendly. So now is the time to take this transition from wooden boat to FRP boat. I think CIFTI can help us more in this regard, and will be very helpful if they can produce. Our demands are huge, so I am just hoping that in the near future, CIFTI can provide us more this kind of boat, and we can also manufacture it locally.
This camp was instrumental in making and proving popular, especially among the traditional fisher folk, a simple, lightweight yet highly durable boat that has a lifespan of 15 to 25 years with almost zero maintenance, where traditional boats could only last for less than 5 to 8 years. Cost-wise also, this had such an impact since the traditional boats cost between 18,000 to 20,000, whereas the fiber boats cost only between 15,000 to 18,000. Today, most of the fisher folk, especially the women, prefer these fiber boats, leading to a great demand for these boats in Assam and Manipur. Now that the new technology has proven to be both socially and economically successful and acceptable, the molds that were used to build these fiber boats were also distributed to the concerned departments so that they can continue producing these excellent boats on their own. This is the largest wetland in India, the Loktak Lake, about 400 square kilometers wide. This scenic lake contributes the major share of fish production in Manipur state. With a profusion of weeds infesting the waters, this lake is a treasure trove of different species of fish in abundance.
The fishing method which is being followed by the fisherwomen in Loktak region is very unique. In this practice, they put the dip net between their thighs and lowers it and raises it without any support. And they stand at the back of the boat while doing this operation. So this requires a very high stability for the boat because the fishing itself is like a dancing action. When we made the fiberglass boat, we made the design in a unique way so that they will get the same stability as the wooden boat when the fiberglass boat is very lighter. So when we introduced the fiberglass, that was one of the challenges which we had to face. So we made a unique design in which this fiberglass boats, which is very light, but at the same time it gives a better stability for the women to do the fishing at the back without actually sitting or using any oars. In this context only, CIFT has thought about introducing fiberglass boats in association with the Department of Fisheries Manipur in Loktak region. So we have made FRP boats, almost the same design as the existing design, but we made it in double hull so that the boat will not sink even when the water enters.
Maneuvering the heavy, traditional wooden boats here was indeed a tough task for the fisher folk here, especially the fisherwomen. This is where CIFT tried, tested and proved the superiority of the new fiber boats in maneuverability and safety. The fisherwomen pool their catch and take it to the mother's market, also controlled by women to be sold to the consumers both retail and wholesale. This mother's market is an ideal example of how a traditional endeavor influences the cultural upliftment of a society. The entire business of procurement, processing, collection and disbursement is controlled by women here, shattering the bastions held aloft by men. Mother's Market, where dried as well as fresh fish are sold exclusively by women, is a perfect example of the management excellence and capability of women. Maybe the only place in the world where women fortitude comes to the fore in all its brilliance. Today, the scientists of CIFT are engaged in spreading the awareness of the fiber boats so successfully proven in Manipur to the other areas in the northeastern coast of India, namely Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya and Nagaland. This venture will help traditional fisher folk to improve their fishing technique tremendously without harming or changing the ecological balance that they have so far guarded as sacrosanct. Through becoming more successful in the business of fishing, the fishing industry here will develop tremendously, even helping national food safety. All these successes will provide a boost to the women congressional across the country, similar to the Mother's Market of Manipur. The Fiber Boat project of CIFT in Manipur is a perfect example of how the socio-economic stature of women could be transformed for the better, improving and influencing their life just by infusing them with the power of proper knowledge.